is. So it's just me. It's me and Curtis. We're going to be giving picks out. We're going to be recapping last night's picks. And we're going to be getting into your all's picks. Get into your all's text on the Game Day Men's Health text line at 502-414-1450. Game Day Men's Health is redefining men's wellness. No shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, peptides, weight loss, and sexual performance therapy. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Curtis, there's some things we've got to discuss. There's some things we've got to get into. Obviously, we've got last night's picks we're going to get into. But before I do that, I want to ask you how you're doing today, sir.
I'm doing all right. Can you hear me all right, Roman?
We can hear you perfectly. You sound great.
Okay, so I want to make sure, first time on the phone, I'm also on the road, heading to Lexington right now to cover a Kentucky volleyball game. So just want to make sure everything's all right. But yeah, I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
I've been doing great. We've obviously had a good start to the week here on the Ticket Punchers. We've got a few things we're going to discuss, but I'm glad to hear that you're out on the road. You're making things happen. Obviously, you're a sports statistician. You obviously do a little bit of play-by-play on the side as well. And you're covering different sports. I don't know if volleyball had been one you had been covering the last couple of years, but you're all over the place, going down L&N, watching the Cardinals volleyball team. Now you're going down to Lexington, watching Kentucky's volleyball. What all sports have you been covering so far?
Yeah, so you're correct on that. Yeah, this is my first year that I'm covering volleyball. Kind of wanted to, just expand my, knowledge. I've been watching it on TV the past few years. Why not go in person and, make some extra money and just enjoy the different environments? So, yeah, it's mainly just college football, volleyball, and then basketball as well. So those are the main three sports that I cover.
Love to hear that. Love to hear that. Curtis, we had Lazard guy texting yesterday. He gave us some picks on some fights. We hit a couple of those picks last night on some fights. We also had a texter yesterday who basically built their parlay using the picks that we had on the show. They tweeted at us showing that they got their win. Shout out to the texter. I want to make sure we get the right one here, but it was Quentin, I believe is the texter's name, who was texting in. He put $10 on the 5-leg. He had Freddie Freeman, Tio Oscar Hernandez, both of them to get a hit. Shout out to JR hitting both of those plays. He also had Yoshinobu Yamamoto 6+ strikeouts. He had the Dodgers money line, which I had talked about earlier in the day, which I'm assuming is why he took that. Curtis, you did have the Brewers money line last night. I hit on the under 7.5 we had as well. So shout out to the texter rocking with us here on the Ticket Punchers, punching the ticket from some plays that we had yesterday. You want to get into that Dodgers Brewers last night? Not really the outcome that we thought it was going to look like here. We thought it would be a low-scoring game. We thought both of those pitchers would probably battle it out. Yoshinobu battling, but not really having much of a competitor there. What did you think of last night's matchup between the Dodgers and Brewers, Curtis?
Yeah, first off, I want to say what a parlay hit by Quentin, man. I mean, you dropped it here on the show yesterday, so good hit on that. Yeah,
great hit, great punch.
Yep. So yeah, Yamamoto. I mean, he got back into the form that we thought we was gonna have last week. You know what I'm saying? Bounce back against the Brewers. It didn't start that way. He gave off, the leadoff home run, the Cheerio. And after that, he was just absolutely dialed in. And on the other side, we had Peralta, which he started off, decent through the first two, innings, but you could kind of tell he's giving up, a hit, every about one or two batters, and then he was just giving up even if it wasn't a hit, he was giving up hard contact. So I knew, that wasn't boding well, through that third and fourth inning. So yeah, and then that's pretty. Brewers offense could never really get going because Yamamoto was dialed in. So yeah.
He was. He goes all 9 innings, finishes the game, goes a complete game, which is super, super rare in the playoffs. I was worried about his strikeout line just because I didn't know what the leash was going to look like. But they trusted in him. They didn't probably want to go to that bullpen. They wanted to keep him out there as long as they possibly could and avoiding having to mess things up going to the bullpen there. But the Dodgers get the job done, get a big victory. We still hit on the 7.5, luckily, which thought it was going to be a bit of a sweat there. When Dodgers get some few runs across, obviously Ohtani getting a couple RBIs there. But are we looking at any MLB tonight? I'm going to load up a parlay that we've got sent in from Lazard guy who sends in the picks that we've got on the show. He's going to send in he's going to tweet out each day some picks that he's got for the night or for the next night, and we're going to discuss those. We're going to recap Lazard guy's picks as he's been giving us some winners, so we're going to give his winners out to the listeners that we've got here. But Curtis, what are we looking at tonight here in the realm of betting? We've got Blue Jays, Mariners tonight. We've got 2 NCAA football games tonight. We know that you dabble a little bit with the Jacksonville States of the world and the Sam Houstons of the world. So where are we looking to align for our ticket punches tonight, Curtis?
Yeah, so I'm honestly not in love with the slate tonight. Not touching any college football. I have a lean in the MLB game with the Mariners and Blue Jays. I lean the first 5 team total, or not team total, first 5 total runs, excuse me, over 3.5. I just think that's a little bit too low. I know we're in a pitcher-friendly ballpark, but both of these, or at least the Mariners offense, has been, pretty much hot since that Tiger series. So I just think 3.5 is a little bit too low. I think we can get the 4 runs. If you go on FanDuel, you can get a 30% profit boost because it is juiced to that over. So yeah, that's one of the plays I'm looking at for the Mariners Blue Jays.
I'm looking here as I'm just watching because I'm going to be probably betting this with you. Going back to October 4th, Game 1, the Detroit Tigers beat the Seattle Mariners 3-2 in 11 innings. Since October 4th, Mariners obviously go to tie that series up and win that series. They have scored at least 3 runs in every single game so far since then. 3 runs against the Mariners in Game 2. They went 8 runs against the Tigers in Game 3. 3 runs against the Tigers in Game 4. 3 runs against the Tigers in Game 5. 3 runs against the Blue Jays in Game 1. 10 runs against the Blue Jays in Game 2. And then tonight, obviously, we're expecting – I'm with you here, Curtis. I think that the Mariners, at the very least, have shown that they're going to have the offense. They're getting at least 3 runs, no matter what. They've been doing that for a couple weeks now. Mm-hmm. I think that continues on tonight. I'm going to rock with you on this. I'm probably going to take the Mariners' first 5 innings run line at the 0.5 run line. I just think that the Kirby and Shane Bieber matchup does go in Kirby's favor. I think Kirby's been a little bit more successful so far to start these playoffs, giving up basically no runs, 2 runs once against the Tigers, and then another run once against the Tigers, 8 Ks and 6 Ks in those 2 matchups. I don't think they put Kirby in relief at all. I think he's pretty much been only starting these playoffs, and he's just now getting back to the rotation of where he's up front. They've got Shane Bieber for the Blue Jays, and I'm feeling Kirby more so in this matchup.
Yeah,
Bieber not having a great outing in his last time out against the Yankees. I get that's the Yankees, but I'm feeling Kirby here.
Yeah, I agree. If I was the lean aside, I would go Mariners. I know it's a lot of public money on Mariners, which isn't always the great time, but I mean, coming back home up 2-0, I do think Kirby is the better pitcher. Bieber started off the year, pretty good, but he was a negative, regression candidate. Like his expected numbers were way worse than they actually were. So a little bit of luck probably in his outings to start the year. So yeah, you kind of saw that coming to fruition. The last game against the Yankees, gave up some runs. So yeah, I think Mariners, can get to Shane Bieber. So yeah,
I
not
love
mad
it.
at that.
So let's go official punches here for tonight's MLB game, Curtis. You are going with the first 5 innings. Let the listeners know one more time.
Yeah, I'll do Mariners Blue Jays first 5 over 3.5.
First 5 innings, total runs over 3.5, sitting on FanDuel right now at -130. I love this play here. I think that the Mariners offense is going to get active now that they're back home early. And they're ready to put on with this 2-0 lead in front of their home crowd. Those bats are going to be swinging. I don't think Bieber is going to be prepared for it. And then the Blue Jays bullpen has been pretty good. I still just don't think it's been good enough to stop these Mariner bats. I'm also feeling I'm rocking with the Mariners bullpen a little bit more than the Blue Jays bullpen so far with what I've seen in these playoffs. So official punch for Curtis, locking it in here. First 5 innings, total runs over 3.5. That's both teams. Love that, Curtis. For my official punch for the night, first one that we're giving out, I'm going first 5 innings run line, Mariners minus 0.5. That means they've got to be up 1 run in the first 5 innings. This is sitting at plus 104 on FanDuel right now, Curtis, which kind of surprising that the favorite who's in their home ballpark is not projected to be leading this game by the first 5 innings, which is kind of when you predict that these pitchers will be out there. You don't really, when you're looking into playoff basketball, prepare for pitchers to be going deep into the game past the 5th and 6th innings. So I'm liking that the Kirby Bieber matchup. I think that the Mariners can get that 1-run lead in those first 5 innings, while I'm predicting that these two guys should still be out there or not have a lot of relief yet for either one of them. So that's where I'm at for my official punch for tonight's game. I naturally want to rock with the under as well. Curtis, it's sitting at 7. Obviously, I take that up to the 0.5. How are you feeling about the over or under in the total in this game tonight? I mean, you liked it 3.5 for the first 5. Do you like it to go over 7.5 as well?
Yeah, so I was conflicted on the total. I could see either way. I obviously like scoring early, but like you said, both of these bullpens are pretty good. Mariners one of the best all year, in terms of bullpen. So I believe they've only gave up 1 run their last 9 innings. So that's why I isolated this into the first 5, because I think Mariners bullpen especially can kind of hold down this Blue Jay squad. So yeah, I'd stay away from the total, the full game total.
That naturally, you saying you're staying away. Personally, here I'm going to give a lean out. We're going to give a jab out, not an official punch. I'm taking it. That's enough, because I was feeling that way about the Mariners bullpen. I think we've gotten enough productivity from the Blue Jays bullpen to feel like that they shouldn't be allowing a whole bunch of runs with who they've got coming into this game too. So I'm on the under 7.5 as a jab here for tonight's slate in the MLB. Curtis, that's kind of, I mean, we'll get in tomorrow's plays for the MLB game, because we'll have Brewers and Dodgers back in LA. We already see that we've got Glass now on the mound for the Dodgers. Haven't been announced yet for the Brewers. Do we want to get in a little bit of early line talks for the NFL? I mean, there's a lot of different opinions on what's going to happen in this Bengals Steelers game. Line is sitting at 5.5. I don't believe was it 4.5 yesterday, or has that line stayed the same?
In terms of Steelers Bengals, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still seeing 5.5 on pretty much. I'm sure we'll get line movement either way. Come tomorrow, whether it goes up to 6.5 or maybe down to 5 or 4.5. But you're already seeing, about, I saw 88% of the bets probably about an hour ago on Steelers, and then the money, like 62% of the money, those sharp bettors, people with, bigger pockets coming in on the Bengals. So, yeah.
All right. We've got the parlay in here from Lazard Guy. Trying to get it up on the screen. Not sure if that's going to happen here right now. We'll just go ahead and read it. Lazard Guy placed a T. Higgins over 6.5 first quarter receiving yards. He got this at minus 115, and he put a 30% profit boost on it, and he's got it up at plus 114 as a straight bet. He threw 100 on there, threw a bill on there. And here's what he has to say. So you're telling me I've got 15 minutes for Joe Flacco to hit T. Higgins on a 7-yard crosser, or a 7-yard out, or a 7-yard slant? Is that what you're telling me? Where do I sign? AFC North Flacco 3.0 starts Thursday, and it starts hot, Rummy Bean. And he's got the ticket punch logo, or not logo, but the emojis there showing that this is his official ticket. How do we feel about that, Curtis?
I love it, Lazar Guy. Actually, my big punch of the day does have to do with T. Higgins that I'll be dropping later on the show. So, yeah, I mean, you saw last week, Joe Flacco, first game. He's a vet, knows he got to get the ball to, his good receivers. So, you saw T. Higgins' first come-out game. He got 8 targets, 5 catches for 62 yards. I think he's definitely going to try to target T and Jamar Chase early and often in this game. So I love that play, was our guy. I'll be
I love
telling
it
that.
too. We've got it up here on the board, up on the screen right now. If you guys are interested in seeing the proof of it here, Lazard guy chiming in on the show. Let's see if he sent in a text in. I don't think we've got any text in yet on our Game Day Men's Health text line. Looking at the chat here, seeing if we've got anything in the chat. Nothing yet, as we've got some viewers on the Real Spill podcast, on the X, on the Big X YouTube page, as we're also here live on the radio. Curtis, I think that this is one of those games where so many people I feel like are going to be on the Steelers and the I don't want to fall victim to the prime time. I've got to find the right phrase that I want to start using for this, but I've been calling it the prime time bull drive. And the NFL's had some weird things happening in prime time games. Outright favorites just keep losing over and over. Steelers outright favorite in this game. 77% of the money line placed on the Steelers. 54% of the money here on the heavy money on the spread for the Steelers. 56% on the over, 44.5. Whenever I see that kind of 77% number on the money line, that means there's also a good amount of people on the spread. Vegas is going to do what Vegas does. This game is going to go the way in which Vegas also can benefit as well. It's how these primetime games go. I hate to have that kind of take just because I do believe in the on-field play. I do believe in, the analytics to why teams beat each other. It's just some weird stuff has been happening. I might have to dabble in the Cincinnati Bengals plus 5.5 at home with Flacco in town.
Yeah, if you was on the show yesterday, you saw me drop Bengals plus 5.5, and like you said, I mean, just week in and week out, we are just seeing the underdogs, just thrive on prime time. And yeah, there's really not a lot of positives to say about the Bengals if we're being all the way honest, but it's just become a trend of underdogs just hanging in there. And like you said yesterday, 6 out of the last 7 underdogs on primetime have won outright. Bengals, Joe Flacco, first home game in Cincinnati. I think he'll be up for this one. Short week for Steelers, got to go on the road. Also a divisional matchup. We seen Giants blow out the Eagles outright last Thursday. The week before, we saw the Niners without Brock Purdy. Mac Jones
getting the
goes into
job
LA.
done.
Yeah, against the Rams. Like, who had them winning? So it's just one of those games to where I don't even think you need all the lines are saying to pick Steelers. They look like the far better team. They should cover this line. But there's just something about these Thursday games to where, I don't feel comfortable with the favorites laying this many points.
No, I'm going to look at a first half under. I feel like first halves in primetime games have always been slow. I feel like the first 3 quarters in primetime games, it doesn't even matter if the game's kind of going how it's supposed to or not. It's going to be weird and slow, and the players that are doing well aren't the players that anybody projected because all the money in on the wide receiver ones, all the money in on the running back ones, and now running back 2's got more rushes. Running back 2's got more receiving yards. Wide receiver 3 coming in and leading the game in receptions. Little things like that always happening in prime time. So we're going to try to be cautious of that. Get a nice little workaround here. I am kind of feeling the Bengals plus 5.5, but even more than that, I am feeling Lazard guys play that we've got up on the screen right now. And here's why, Curtis. The Steelers' pass rush is serious. They get to the quarterback like at will. It feels like the rest of that defense, they figure things out at times. They're not the most tight knit group that they've got there on the defensive end, but the defensive line, their front 7, the guys that they send when they're blitzing, they get home to the quarterback often. And that makes me think in the snaps where Joe Flacco does get that 2 to 3 seconds of a clean pocket just in his drop back, we know that he goes to his reads quickly. He is still an elite quarterback in that sense. If he has time to look at each of his receivers, he goes through those progressions quickly and he can get the ball out super fast. I think this does lead to T and all of the receivers, but ideally Jamar and T are going to get those targets early because I imagine that the Steelers are going to try to set the tone early and get to the quarterback early and let Joe Flacco know you don't have time when you're running the ball. And if you guys don't pick the right lane when you're throwing the ball, and if you don't pick the right lane when you're running the ball, we're going to stuff that up too. So I predict that the Bengals offense is going to try to get that ball moving in and out of the pocket very, very fast. And what better way to do that than your tall, athletic receiver in T. Higgins. So I love the over 6.5 receiving yards in the first quarter. I mean, it's one catch. It's one catch. In 15
Mm-hmm.
minutes, they'll get what, 2 drives, maybe 3, if things go their
Yeah.
way. He should be able to make that happen in the first quarter. So I love it. I
Yep.
love it, Lazard guys. Got a text in here on the Game Day Men's Health text line from Lazard guy. Texting in says, "Let's go, boys. Looked at some lines earlier. Think I'm going with the ladder play for tomorrow. A fun first reception play, and of course some first touchdowns. I haven't played any first reception plays all season long. If I do those kinds of plays, Curtis, I've typically been more in the this player to catch a pass on this drive. The tight ends typically give you good plus money sometimes, unless it's like a Laporta or a Kelsey. You can typically get good odds on tight ends to catch a pass in the next drive, but now you're talking about some pretty degenerative live betting going on there, if I'm being honest. But any other official things we're looking at for tonight, Curtis? You've gotten into your hockey dig yet? I've got a hockey match that I'm looking at tonight that I'm kind of feeling. I want to get your take on it. The Panthers are on the road going and seeing the Red Wings. Red Wings not bad. Red Wings have already kind of shown that they may be a little bit more serious this season, but the Panthers haven't really skipped a beat. They're, I feel like, still pretty good, but they're 0-1 on the road. They didn't win their one road game that they've had this season. I think they're going to bounce back. I think they're going to get a win on the road here because they're due for one. Outside of that,
Yeah.
that's a jab, though. That's just, I'm taking the Panthers tonight in an official game that I like. I'm staying away from the NBA until we get the regular season games happening because I want to know that the rotations are correct. Curtis, anything you're looking at tonight that we missed out on? I know we haven't really talked any college football. Delaware going up against Jack State and UTEP going up against Sam Houston. You said you're staying away from both of those. I don't really like either one either personally, but Jacksonville State being plus money is kind of confusing. I do think that offense can get up and down the field. Delaware State, though, is a much better offense, and I don't know if Jacksonville State's defense is really, really prepared for it. However, I don't think Delaware State's going to be able to stop the run from Jacksonville State. So naturally, Curtis, I'm on that under 56.5. It's moved up to 57.5. When lines move up like that, that is typically a sign. We're not going to make this an official Big X. Actually, you know what? I'll make this an official punch. My 2 punches are going to have one in the MLB game. That's that first 5 innings run line for the Mariners. Second official punch is going to be the Jacksonville State money line outright to get the win on their home field going up against Delaware. The Jacksonville State Delaware under. I do think that Jacksonville State's going to win, but I'm on the under 57.5. I think that their run game, their possessions when they got the ball will slow the game down enough to where that 57 makes me feel like it's a bit high. Also, both these teams can be a bit sloppy, so I think it should be a little bit of ugly football going out there. Plus, it's the middle of the week. The middle of the week football is never pretty. We're going on the under 57.5. I get that pretty ugly football can go either way with a lot of points or no points, but I think this is going to be ugly football in the lack of points kind of way. Also, matchup predictor. I mean, ESPN bet, like, it's got Delaware as the favorite here on the ESPN app, but on the ESPN analytics predictor, Curtis, Jacksonville State 56.5% chance to win this game. I saw it was up to 60% yesterday. Any takes at all on Jacksonville State and Delaware or Sam Houston and UTEP before we get out of here?
Yeah. You said you're on the under?
I'm on the under 57.5 in the Jack State Delaware game.
Yeah, it does seem a bit high. I kind of lean over just for the pace that these teams play with. And Delaware, they've shown signs to score. So has Jacksonville State. I see why probably money's coming in on Jacksonville State. I think they've won 8 straight games, at home, which is where this game will be. But yeah, these midweek games, as we saw yesterday, get really, really ugly. Two of the 3 games yesterday, the big underdogs won outright. And then New Mexico State they lost by 2, getting about double digits, almost won outright as well. So these midweek games in college football are always, hard to predict. So I don't really have honestly a lean in college football tonight. As far as NHL goes, I couldn't really find much I liked in that either. But Florida Panthers been kind of my wagon the last few years. I had a feature on them to win um
The
to
Stanley
win it
Cup.
all. Yep, Stanley Cup a few years ago. Thank you. So yeah, I didn't really love anything in NHL or college football tonight. A few leans I might take, come closer to game time, but yeah, I'm staying away.
All right, this is going to wrap us up here on the Ticket Puncher. Shout out to Curtis, stopping his path down to Lexington so he can join the show, join up on the call. We really appreciate that, joining with the phone there. And Curtis, we missed JR. We're going to try to get his picks out that he had for tomorrow's, not for tomorrow. JR's picks were for tomorrow, so we're going to get those out and discuss tomorrow as well. But this is going to wrap us up here on the Ticket Punchers. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for listening. We'll be right back tomorrow, 5:30 to 6 here on the Big X. Let's go punch some tickets.
Punch those tickets.
Wake up call on Big X Sports Radio. Wake up 502 with Rashawn Myers every Saturday morning from 9 until 11 a.m. Only on WXVW 96.1.